6 Organizational Dynamics of MBA program. We will be covering Block 1 of Organizational Dynamics and Overview. Under this, we have two units, Organizational Dynamics, that's the understanding, and second is Group Dynamics. Let's see what is the meaning of organizational dynamics. Dynamics can be referred to as a process by which the resources get leveraged and strengthened continuously, eventually modifying how employees work and function in a nutshell. How the organization functions to promote improved work practices, human relations, and indulging in agility and overall learning practices. It refers to the organizational design, coordination, and information processing. Basically, organizational dynamics refers to all the processes, interaction, structure, which overall shape the entire organization. The organizational design must take the smaller tasks and club them together to form and coordinate with a more significant undertaking. Coordination refers to it is an essential element that seeks to remove uncertainty by appropriately exchanging and collating information. Information processing is an important element of an organization when designing and formation of an organization on a whole. There are certain components of organizational design when we are shaping, when we are restructuring, redesigning. There are mainly three components which refers to effectiveness, efficiency, and viability. Effectiveness refers to when the goals get accomplished. When we generally say that we effectively done this work, we effectively reach the goal. Efficiency is when the goals are met with effective utilization of resources. When the resources are used in an optimal utilization, that is called efficiency. And viability is the existence for a relatively long period. Let's see what is the information processing view of organizational diagnosis. The information revolution is responsible for all the development regarding the telephone, fax, and internet. The new phase of automation evident from 1990s is affecting how organizations operate. Precise planning and communication are essential since customer interaction and suppliers must be catered to on a daily basis. The uncertainty makes it difficult for the organization to look for a fixed design. Since the cost of information-based processing has been reduced, it has led to learner organizations that can sustain themselves with less inventory and employees. Investing in the technological side of an organization pays returns for the management and the employees. The new information processing view of organizational diagnosis is all about where the organization have a view to develop the organizational models. The virtual design model, that is also called as VDT, where individuals have separate entities, they analyze, they communicate, they make decisions. It is also reported in Ginn and Levitt in 1996. Each individual differs in their own skills and information channels. The decentralized structure was adopted as a primary information processing model. There needs to be a congruence between the information processing capacity and demand. The factors which affect the organizational dynamics on the whole is majorly inside the organization, managerial boundary of the organization, and outside the organization. When we say inside the organization, it is self-explanatory about the employees, which form the inside boundary of the organization, and anything falls within an organization that is all about the inside, maybe the structure, the size, the employee skills and abilities. Whereas the managerial boundary of an organization marks the distinction between the inside and what is outside the organization. In line with the information processing view, limits can be drawn and it can be demarked according to the organizational context, its purpose and need. Whereas the outside the organization refers when the secondary data is used to collect the data is used to for relaunching or redesigning or launching of any product or any services. In this case, the managerial boundaries goes beyond the legal limits. So basically, three factors: inside, managerial boundary, and outside the organizational affect the entire organizational dynamics, which refers to the shaping of entire organization. First, let's see contingency diagnosis. Organizational diagnosis is a concept that primarily helps achieve goals by devising structures. When we say structures, structures refers to the size, the hierarchical position, that refers to the strategy, the organization strategy, its environment, its size, the technology adapted by an organization, management style, and the organizational climate on the whole. All these matters, all these refers by the goals mission, what is the purpose and the goal of an organization. There are certain boundaries which are directly related with the size, environment, technology of an organization. So overall, the structure refers to the size, where the size of an organization depends on the organizational hierarchy. There we find how what is the structure, what is the size, what is the technology. All these portions arises. Then it comes to a diagnostic. Multi-contingency diagnosis. The influence factors are described in a image given on the left, whereas the design recommendations on the right, which is also mentioned by Burton and Obel in 2004. An appropriate organizational design can be developed by creating a fit between these two. The two are the strategic factors and the structural configurations. It is all about the influence factors and the design recommendations. These two, this needs to be regularly aligned whenever there is any change in the organization occurs. The strategic factors, leadership and management styles, organizational climate, size and skill capabilities of an employees, environment, technology, and strategy refers to an influence factor, whereas the design recommendations refers to the formalization, centralization, incentives, rewards, organizational configurations, coordination, and control. This fit criteria basically refers to on the base of effectiveness, efficiency, and viability, which has already been discussed. There are certain design fits when we talk about the fitment. First is contingency fit. Contingency fit can be successfully achieved when the knowledge base gets effectively if then statement. It is an essential element when it comes to achieving good organizational performance. Whereas a strategic fit is a turbulent environment witnessing a dynamic change in the external factors or maybe from the outside environment. It makes sure to engage in the technologically advanced strategy. Organizational internal situation should be congruent with the changes outside and not vice versa to achieve effectiveness. There is standard technology in a turbulent environment would not fit to gain a strategic fit. Design fit refers to notion of equifinality. For instance, the contingent factors may come up with a situation that denotes more than one property of an organization structure. The idea is to choose the best possible combination that could be selected from all the others. The total design fit refers to the most challenging for every organization of all the comparative to all the other fits. It argues that different three types of fit should be appropriately met. It requires the design to consistent according to the external demand and design recommendations. When we say if then rules, which is given by the Duncan's knowledge base and also given by Burton and Obel in 2004, if the environment complexity is simple and environment change is static, then the organization structure is functional. If the organizational complexity is simple but the environmental change is dynamic, then the structure is mixed functional. When the environmental complexity is complex and environmental segmentation is present and environmental change is started, then the organization structure is decentralized. Environmental complexity, in case of environmental complexity is complex and environmental stagnation is present and environmental change is dynamic. The organization structure is mixed, decentralized. When in case in this complex environment, and this when the segmentation is absent, whereas the environmental change is static, the organizational structure is functional. And when finally, when the organizational complexity is complex and environmental segmentation is absent, and environmental change is also dynamic, there it is mixed functional. So if and then rules are given by Burton and Obel, whereas they are talking about the environmental complexity, they are talking about the dynamics, they are talking about the environmental change within an organization. Let's see what are the organizational diagnostic models. When we are coming up to the designing and redesigning of an organization, we are talking about the fitment of an organizational design. Diagnosis is very important. There are certain models given by scholars. The first and foremost is McKinsey's 7S framework of organizational diagnosis. It is structured with 7 elements. Out of that, there are hard elements and soft elements. Strategy, structure, and systems are hard elements, whereas the skills, staff, style, and shared vision values are soft elements. When we talk about the strategy refers to entire vision of an organization work in a very complex manner. It is refers to the policies, the framework of an entire organization. The structure refers to the hierarchical position, or maybe the structure, the organization structure of an organization. The systems refers to the processes of an organization. The skills refers to the skills, abilities, and knowledge of of the people, of the employees employed in an organization. The staff refers to the number of employees, refers to the job description, refers to the job specifications they are working on. The style refers to the managerial styles, it refers to the working style of an employee, whereas the shared value refers to the collaborative work where they are sharing the vision, the mission of an organization. So McKinsey gives 7S framework where the organizational diagnosis can be done on all these 7 elements, out of which 3 are hard elements, which are very specific, and it refers more towards the top management portfolio, whereas the rest of the 4 are towards the employees' portfolios. Second is J. Galbraith star model. J. Galbraith star model refers to the 5 elements: strategy, structure, business processes, which and the lateral links, HR management, and reward system. The reward system refers to the compensation. It is all interrelated. It is all related with one and another. Let's see, reward system refers to the compensations and the rewards given to the employees. The HR management refers to the sourcing of an or maybe or whatever be the HR functions related to, which is very important within an organization. It is all about people management as well. The strategy refers to the policies and the overall rules and regulations of an organization, whereas the structure refers to the hierarchical position, the organizational roles of our employees, whereas the business processes and lateral thinking refers to the overall integrated role of employees All these five elements are mentioned in STAR method, where we can see the strategy is linked directly with HR management and structure, whereas the structure is directly linked with business processes further. Business processes is interlinked with structure and reward system, whereas the reward system is linked with HR management and business processes. Let's decode this STAR method. When we say strategy, strategy is formulated, the rules, the vision of an organization, is formulated with a collaboration with HR management processes and the structure of an organization. And when we see the reward system, it is directed by the HR management. It is strategized by the HR management primarily, and linked with the business processes and the lateral links of an organization. Further, Weisbot six-box model refers to majorly six elements, where it is referred to as again a purpose, which is a mission or a vision of an organization, the purpose, the goal of an organization. Structure again refers to the structure of an organization, all about the people, the hierarchical positions, the roles of an employees. Here, the one element, that is leadership and relationships, are very important, which also relates with helpful mechanism. The rewards is again linked with the structure. The leadership plays a very important role in this model to diagnose about the redesigning or designing the organization. The leaders plays a very important role overall, and they are the central of all the elements. All the things, all the elements revolves around the top management and the leaders of an organization. The relationship and helpful mechanism refers to a collaborative approach of an organization, which definitely helps to find out the issues, or maybe to help in organizational diagnostics. Transformation model, when we say transformation, it is all about the redesigning primarily, which refers to the environment. Environment can be outside or inside the organization, how it affects the strategy, how it affects the rules and regulations or policies. Culture refers again to directly related with the strategical option. The strategies further relates with the leadership, the core processes. Then the core processes is directly relates to the structure, and further to the system. The system again it's a loop. Actually, the all these the six elements, the major six elements of an transformation models are in a loop, which is directly influenced by the environment, and further refers to the results or the output of an organization. Here again, the leadership plays a very important role, which is directly or indirectly related with strategy, culture, core processes, systems, and of course the structure of an organization. The concurrence model. The concurrence model again refers to the transformation process, where the inputs refers to the environmental resources and the output refers to the organizational group goals, group goals, or the individual goals. When the environmental resources or the history of an organization serves as an the inputs of an during the transformation process, it refers to through the strategical transformation, which refers to the task, informal organization or formal organizational, and within formal organizational arrangements, which also refers or maybe interrelated with the individuals or the people of an organization, whether it is in a form of group or an individual, they play a very important role in the transformation process. It refers to the informal, when it is on an informal organization, individuals plays a very important role, and even in the formal organizational arrangements, individuals plays a very important role, which has to be strategically transformed and strategically move towards the output, which leads to the group and individual goals primarily, and further refers to the organization goals. Brook-Litwin Organizational Change Framework. It refers to the it directly refers to the external factors, strategic factors, operating factors, individual factors, and outputs. When we say external factors create the need for change. That is the environment, that is the maybe for example the technological changes, that rapid change in the technology is one of the major external factor which influence, which drive the organization for the change. Further, when the transformational factors are relates with the strategy or the mission of an organization, which directly relates or influence the leaders and the organizational climate. They are also often where the objectives are changed and first captured. The operating factors is all about the structure, the hierarchy, the roles, the employees of an organization. It's all about the systems, how the execution of the management practices. These transactional factors may be fairly easy to change, and that depends on the feedback, on the regular monitoring of all these transactional factors. Whereas the individual factors are affected by many things. It includes the individual performances, the individual's motivation towards the work, how motivated they are work, the rewards and reward system actually influence on the individual factors, and the workplace culture. These all factors finally relates with the comes to the outcome. The ultimate outcome of any change in the impact is on performance. If the change has organizational change has been done on all these, keeping all these factors in a synchronized manner, then definitely the impact on the performance can be on a positive way. Holic enterprise model. Holic enterprise model refers to the dynamic virtual clusters. Here, EC refers to the extension control. When we CE refers to the control execution, and E refers to the execution. Holic enterprise refers to an enterprise where the resources are all interrelated. Resources here means the resources of from an individual point of view, from a group or the organization. It is all about the resources which are very controlled execution, and some resources are execution control, and some are only the execution. When we say only execution, execution refers to only the operative part of an organization, whereas the execution control refers to the top management, and the CE, that is a control execution, refers to the managerial level of an organization. So Holic or enterprise is majorly model depends on the hierarchical position or the roles of an employees within an organization. Flexible organization model. Flexible organization model protect the core and disrupt at the edge. Unleash the network teams, adopt a collaborative system mindset, create the conditions for a flexible organization. Protection and disrupting at the edge really, gives a rise to the incubation model. it disrupt them. It is used of an incubation model and separate them from the core organization. The incubators are there in in some organizations where they are working on the new technologies, new things, and the whatever be the changes happening within an organizations, influenced by the external or the internal factors. The collaborative system mindset is very important within an employees of an organization, where the understanding is very important. The lines of authority has to be very well defined. They have to work in a very connected points. They have to work in a very close connection, where the it actually moves towards the social dynamics of an organization. Creating a conditions for flexible organization developed a purpose, the common purpose of the employees and an organization, and it holds the team together. They work in a very collaborative manner through the shared vision, through the shared culture of an organization. It requires the new leaders who are not commanders. It is more towards the participative roles or participative model of leadership, whereas the directors or stimulators or the collaborators, that they work in a team, they work in a very collaborative manner, where all of them are stakeholders of an organization. Again, McKinsey gave another model, that is helix model. Helix model, if we see the diagram, it is influenced by the DNA, where there are two lines parallel, but they are interrelated. The blue line in the picture, in the image, refers to the capabilities management, how the work has to be gets done, and the black, the line is value creation management. What work gets done? It is important not only how the work is gets done, but what work gets done. There is no more dotted lines. The helix provides very clear, the equal and parallel lines of accountability. Although the clear lines of accountability are there, but still these are not parallels. They are finally interrelated with each others. The capability manager oversees the employee's long-term path, career growth, the power to hire and fire the employees, and drives performance evaluations with input from value creation managers. The value creation manager further sets the priorities, provides day-to-day oversight, and ensure that the employees meet business objectives. So overall, the capability manager and the value creation manager, although they have different line of function, different authorities, but finally they also interrelate on the basis of the vision and the objectives of an organization, where it is equally important about how the work gets done and what volume of work gets done. After organizational diagnosis, organizational dynamics refers to the learning processes. If learning is for the organizational dynamic, organizational learning is very important for a shaping of the organization on a whole. Building a learning organization. Every organization need to keep striving to be distinct and relevant to gain a sustained competitive edge. The need to improve continuously demand and initiate this desire to learn. For survival, it is imperative to be most adaptive towards change. It is often an advantage to stay relevant and thrive when the ability to learn gets better. It is when we are talking about the learning organization, it is a continuous improvement in the way of knowledge base of an organization where it is managed. It consists mainly of four elements, that is knowledge acquisition, information distribution, information interpretation, and organizational memory. Organizational learning. It is since 1990s, nearly 1990s, Chris Agris has been written about organizational learning. It is all about achieving sustained competitive advantage. It is important to be organizational learning in a very, with a rapid change in the technology as well as in the entire processes and systems of an organization. The rise of corporates in Japan in those years made organizational learning the most potent force. The pressures of rising technology, consumer demands, e commerce, globalization, and finally the emphasis on quality. The quality is not to be compromised. There, they force the organization to cope up with the learning methods aggressively. The need to grasp new knowledge and practical skills and cultivate the capacity to learn all the essentials when it comes to gaining that competitive edge. It is very important to have organizational learning. To learn from Japan is to learn how they operate amidst the rising competition. We learn from Japan culture and Japanese learning methodologies. We overall the world is influenced by the way they focus on the quality and the knowledge gaining. The ability with which they learn, they adapt and move helps in achieving improvement and overall functions. Knowledge management and organizational is very closely knitted. It is essential to reflect on the meanings to clarify what knowledge and learning imply. Knowledge is a crux of what all individuals already know. On the other hand, learning is continuously adds or modifies and change in the organizational what they already know. Therefore, to make the knowledge base increase meaningful, it is vital to consider learning a dynamic process. The increase in efficiency is measured by use of learning curves, which is given by Ergot in 1999. Organizational learning is when the entire learning process gets implemented and new knowledge base is created each time. This whole process gets renewed each time a new process gets executed and results in increased value for the entire organization. Knowledge management is expanding the capacity and capability relating to information, the skills, the creativity, so that the organizations become more effective and efficient. The design of knowledge management system includes altering the processing of the data. Organizational learning and learning organizations. These are very this seems to be very almost the same terms, and it is very closely related with each other. Organizational learning refers to the concept which is used for certain type of activity that takes place in an organization, whereas a learning organization refers to a particular type of organization in and of itself. Learning in this manner is a slow and a gradual process that systematically transforms itself regularly with the involvement of all the employees. Different schools of thoughts have written about organizational learning and the range of disciplines, which is multidisciplinary. It covers psychology, it covers organizational theory, sociology, and cultural anthropology. The fifth discipline in 1990 was given by Sengi, mastered the concept of five attributes that are needed for any organization to become a learning organization. This is personal mastery, mental models, shared visions, systems thinking, and team learning. Personal mastery is the attribute given which is focused on the employees entirely. It reflects the journey of employees in attaining growth in terms of their knowledge, skills, and abilities. The shared vision refers to it is an attribute which reflects the ability to think about the future in a typical lens. It provides a sufficient foundation to work towards a common goal and direction. Mental models refers to the beliefs and the way they are wired to perceive any situation. Team learning refers to the gradual transition from attaining collective learning in an organization, creating a learning organization or any organization to be as a learn through dialogue and discussions. It becomes crucial to focus on collaborative learning, where it is important, very important attribute, because it finally or overall refers to the learning organization. System thinking act as a potent force that all the other qualities. It is the holistic approach which the individual parts come in contact, interrelate, and perform tasks. Now, very important question is what promotes organizational learning? Organizational learning overall is not the responsibility of a top management. It is an overall responsibility on every level of an organization to foster the learning culture within an organization. First factor is structure. The hierarchical setups hinders the learning organizations, and several procedures comes in a way. So the structure of an organization has to be open. It should have few controls, less restrictions when it comes to learning and development. This type of structure help in promoting the learning organization if it is a flat organization structure. Information systems is helps in promoting the organization learning, where the knowledge management systems are help to better acquire the share the knowledge. Human resource practices. For a better learning culture, to foster the learning culture within an organization, the employees must be appropriately compensated with rewards and timely appraisal procedures. Compensations and appraisals are necessary to help effectively transfer knowledge and skills. Most of the organizations are even rewarding their employees to learn, and if they are learning, if they are getting the certification which is about the training programs which has already been implemented on their learning management systems. So they are practicing this, they are giving certificates, they are giving recognition to the employees. This is mainly executed by the HR or the learning and development departments. Organizational culture. Organizational culture should foster dialogue, voice, and creativity so that the individuals and the organizational values align appropriately. Successful learning takes place when there is a space that promotes experimentation. Leadership can bring in line all the factors that strive to promote organizational learning. The leaders should encourage, it is a very important role in organizational learning. Approaches to organizational learning is by strategy, by structure, by culture, and by the human resources. The strategy is all about the developing and encouraging the practical activity, whereas the structure is all about better flow of ideas within the roles, within the hierarchy. Learning like culture is described by enabling the shared values system. There will be a collective success in promoting organizational learning. Training the employees to cater the participative and supportive learning is all about learning by human resources. Let's understand the group dynamics. Group dynamics refers to the group of people where they shape, where they work in a form that they can be able to shape their entire group systems. The definition and the meaning of the group is used to designate many kind of human aggregations. The group is two or more individuals interacting and interdependent, who have come together to achieve the common or the particular goals. Group is two or more individuals connected by a way and with a social relationship. Wherever the two or more individuals come together, they influence one another, they constitute and influence each other, and they constitute the social group, are also defined by Ogburn and Nimkov. The characteristics of group are primarily given are the four features. One is common goal. The group overall drive themselves towards the common objective of an organization or maybe the group objective. The structure refers to the roles and responsibilities of the employees of the team of the group members within the group. The role refers to the authority and the designation and the job assigned to them. Interaction refers to how they are interacting formally, informally, how they are whether it is structured in interaction and what is the timeline of the interaction. It actually matters a lot when we talk about the features of the group. The concept of entitativity refers to the degree to which a group is perceived as a single, unified entity rather than just a collection of individuals. Groups with higher entitativity appears more cohesive, structured, and meaningful as a whole unit. The common goals, interaction, that is frequent and meaningful communication about the goals, about the shared purpose, their shared traits, beliefs, and backgrounds. Proximity, their physical closeness, that refers to the frequent meetings, maybe weekly or sometimes 3 days, or it depends if there is any modification or changes within the group objectives, they meet for on a very regular basis. Group structure defined roles, norms, and leadership, whereas the perceived unity refers to how outsiders view the group's cohesion. Some of the levels of the groups can be high, moderate to high, moderate, and low. When it is high, it is like a primary group. That the best example is the family. When it is moderate to high, it is the social groups. For example, the office colleagues or the teams. Moderate is associations on they when they meet, when the interaction is maybe quarter or 6 months or monthly basis. This is more towards the organization or the clubs. The low is social, refers to the social categories where it is categorized in age groups or the genders. The functions of group have three perspectives given by McGrath in 1997. The systems perspective, the structural perspective, and functional perspective. System perspective considers groups complex sets of interdependent components influencing members' thoughts, feelings, and actions. The structural perspective examines how groups create enduring patterns and consistencies in social settings, including norms, roles, and regularize patterns in communication and influence. The functional perspective refers to the tools of people to achieve goals that require collaboration among many of them. Majorly, the four type of groups, when we say primary group, it is very small and they have very strong emotional ties. They have face-to-face interaction, frequent interactions are there, long-term relationships is maintained, whereas a social group is mainly primary or secondary, or interaction may be formal or informal, that depends on the group members. Association is all about the formal group, the organized and the structured group with specific goals and often governed by rules and regulations. For example, the political parties, the trade unions, the professional organizations. This is more goal-oriented and structured. The members have specific criteria, whereas the social category, the collection of individuals or the group of people where they share the common traits. For example, the age groups, the teenagers, there we can find some social category where there are senior citizen clubs, or maybe the teenagers, are come together and they go for a party, or they work on one specific project. So they are the gender groups. Even the ethnic groups are the example. This people may not interact in this virtual world. They may not interact physically, but yes, they are influenced by the social categories or by the identities. There are certain theories of group formation. First is propinquity theory, which is the most fundamental theory explaining affiliation. This means the individuals affiliate with one another because of the spatial and the geographical proximity. In an organization, we have seen the employees who work in the same area of the plant or office, or managers with office close to one another would probably form groups more than those not physically located. This next is Homan's theory, which is given by George Homan. Groups develop based on the interactions, the activities, and the sentiments. The interaction is an event in which an action of a man was stimulus for an action of another, whereas the sentiment is a behavior. It is an expressive of person's attitude towards another person, which includes the liking and disliking for individuals, approvals or disapprovals of the thinking of the things they do. And the activity refers to any action, whatever be the actions they are taking, they are performing, that may not require interactions with others, or they express interpersonal sentiments. This theory means when the individual shares everyday activity, they will have more interaction, will develop attitudes, positive or negative, towards each other. The primary element of this theory is the interaction of an individual involved. In most of the organizations, the interaction is done on the formal organization done as a regular meetings, maybe virtual or face-to-face meeting within an organization, which is a midday. In some of the organization, the first interaction, when they come to the office, they greet everyone, they talk to everyone for 5-10 minutes. They interact with each other about knowing about each other, about the health or the family. They just talk very informally. So this promotes the positive organization culture within an organization, where everybody knows more or less everyone, and they express, they perform. Maybe they are within the team or they are not within the team. So the organizations are promoting the interactions and the activities which directly influence the individual to form a good groups. Social exchange theory. People apply economic principles when evaluating relationships, consciously or unconsciously, conducting cost benefit analysis and comparing alternatives, then try to maximize the rewards they obtain from a relationship and minimize the cost. The social exchange, like economic exchange, people seek profit. They are disturbed when there is no equity in an exchange, or where others are rewarded more at the same cost incurred by the individual. These profits can be measured in short term or cumulatively. The value of cost and rewards are highly subjective. It depends on the organization to organization. It depends on how the organization structured and the strategies and the systems work for the reward and incentives policies. The perception that exchange relationship will be positive is essential if individuals are to be attracted and affiliate within a group. Social identity theory. Social identity theory is given by Henry Tedgefield, who suggests that individuals get a sense of identity and self-esteem based on the membership in salient groups. The nature of the group may be demographically, culturally, or organizationally based. Individuals are motivated to belong to and contribute to identity growth because of sense of belongingness and self-worth membership in the group imparts. propose that stereotyping, putting people into groups and categories, is based on it's a very normal and cognitive process. We have seen in groups and out groups. The difference between the group is known as the in group. What they call is us, and the similarities of things in the same group, that is out group, that is them. The certain central hypothesis of social identity theory is that group members of an in group will seek to find negative aspects of out group, thus enhancing their self image. There are three mental processes involved in evaluating as us or them. These takes place in particular order: categorization, social identification, and social comparison, where they categorize on the basis, either on the basis of geographical area, maybe the age, maybe the on the skills they have, on the basis of the area, or maybe the cultural background. Social identification is then it comes to the social identification after categorization, where they identify themselves within a group, and the social comparison then finally comes after the categorization and social identification. One of the well-known and the group development process is given by Tuckmans, where the 5 stages are mentioned of group development. First is forming, then is storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Forming stage happens when the group members get to know each other. It is the initial stage of group formation. It is very high. It has a very high uncertainty whether everyone likes, or maybe whatever the likes and dislikes happens within a group. Then is storming. The group members resist influence. Disagreement happens. Sometimes a conflict also, high and conflicts also happen on the basis of the systems or the processes or the approvals, or they form a group, they categorize themselves, they form the groups in groups sometimes. Norming happens when the group members settle down. It is when they settle down with a common purpose, they agreed on common grounds. High friendship and cohesion happens in this stage. Performing is when the group members work together towards their goal. It is more performance-oriented relationships maintained during this stage. Adjourning is when the group members leave the group, when the task is complete. It happens mostly in the project management, or the project where the groups are formed for some specific projects. So feeling of accomplishment, or sometimes a failure also, sometimes the grief comes while they're journeying stage, or maybe they have a relief, or maybe they if they are closely impacted with each other, they closely bounded with each other. It is also they don't want to, but this is one of the stage when the project's complete, they adjourn and they move maybe for the another new groups. Moreland and Levin's model gave 5 generic roles in the group. It refers to prospective member, new member, full member, marginal member, and ex-member. Prospective members are, they are the group to decide whether to commit. The new members learn the norms and practices of the group. Full member is thoroughly socialize and now negotiate about the roles within the groups, the rules and regulations of the group. Marginal members can drift out of the step with group life, or maybe re-socialize if they drift back again. Ex-member is who left the group, but the previous commitment has an enduring effect on the group and the ex-members. The group structure is basically bifurcated in group size and group role. Group size refers to the number of people in the group, whereas the role refers to the work group, maintenance work roles, maintenance role, and blocking roles. Work roles refers to the job descriptions and the work assigned to them, whereas the maintenance role further divided under harmonizer, gatekeepers, conscious, and compromisers. Whereas the blocking roles are within the group are some people you can see aggressors, some are blockers, and some are comedians. When we say aggressors, aggressors are those people who played a role where they are always in aggression. They are disagreed on the vision or the objective of a group. Blockers are known to be those people who always have blocks. So those who always disagree on everything, whatever is happening within a group. And the comedians are who come and enjoy the group and then they go. Whereas the maintenance roles are more towards whatever role they are trying to maintain the entire group, which some people maintain the harmony within the group. They are known as harmonizers, gatekeepers, who really see who is coming, who is staying with the group, and what kind of you know uh, the intentions they have. Then there are compromisers within the group who compromise with to just to maintain the harmony or to maintain the group overall. So the roles are very important within a group of each member, and they are characterized. Sometimes they are known for these roles. Belbin's team role refers to shapers, implement, the company worker, completer or finisher. Some within a team or within a group, some people work as coordinators, some people work as team workers, the resource negotiators, and there are certain other roles which are given as a monitor or an evaluator. Some roles are specialist role within a group, within a team, and some people these are given the 9 roles which are mentioned by Belbin. They have their own strength and weaknesses. That depends on what kind of role the shaper, implementer, and finishers are more towards action-oriented roles, whereas the coordinator, team worker, and resource are more towards the people driven roles, whereas the people who are given as a monitor or evaluator or specialist or plant, they are more is the central or the cerebral roles. It's more of the cognitive processes are involved, where they are more strategic, they are more imaginative, they are more creative in that. Certain norms are defined which inform to act team members within the group. There are certain group norms, the rules, the guidelines are given, which are known as norms. The classification of group norms are further bifurcated under performance norms, reward allocation norms, and equity norms. Performance norms are, for example, when a worker may stop working for production machine 20 minutes before quitting time to wash up. So it is determined to be as a performance norms that it which is required for these members, whereas the reward allocation norms shares equally. So rewards are distributed equally to everyone, whereas the equity norm suggests that rewards are distributed according to members' contribution within the group. The 4 aspects of group's identity are interaction norms, procedure-oriented norms, status norms, and achievement norms. Group interaction based on the group interaction is done, then it is TMS, that is transactive memory system, which helps to group perform effectively. Then it moves to the centralization, which affects the coordination and logic of the group. The cohesiveness refers to the bonding group members and the desire to remain part of the group. The members tend to enjoy their group more when they cohesive, and cohesive groups usually outperform ones and lack cohesion. These groups can be, suggest that improve the teamwork among the members, but the performance quality influences cohesion more than cohesion influences performances. So group performance is very important, which is, groups are primarily believed to be more effective than individuals in performing specific tasks. Norman Triplett has, noted that bicyclists were fastest when they competed against racers rather than raced alone against the task. It is studied that it is influenced by the social situation in which they race. The groups have many members who have more resources. It's able to complete the decisions effectively. Social affiliation is term given by F. Alport. It is a drive theory to explain the social facilitation effects, and it is because people are unpredictable, and it is very important for the passive audience instinctively and automatically produces increased arousal and motivation. Social inhibition refers to the tendency for individuals to perform worse on tasks when they are being observed, especially if the task is complex or familiar. It is more happens during public speaking anxiety, test performance, during the sports performance, or the workplace pressures. Whereas the social loafing happens psychologically, where the individual puts in less effort, where working in a group compared when working alone. It happens because of lack of motivation, or maybe the sucker effect or diffusion of responsibility. The best examples are group projects, workplace teams, and the sports teams, where the players may not push themselves as hard when they feel their effort is insignificant. So overall, we have done on the group formation and group discussions. So group decision making mainly is based on unanimity, truth wins, and two-third majority, where it when it comes to the group making decisions. Group polarization is a process when the attitude help in individual group members become more extreme than before the group become discussing the topic. Group thinking was given by social psychologist by Janice, where the Challenger space shuttle disaster, where the space shuttle engineer knew about faulty parts, with the shuttle plenty of time before takeoff. Instead of reporting it, they decided to push ahead and launch anyway to avoid negative press. So it was a example which is known and very well documented, where the group thinking sometimes it's always be easy to discern, but sometimes signs that it is present. The symptoms of this, Janice identified different symptoms on this. Signs of group thinking is illusions of anonymity, unquestioned belief, rationalizing, mind guards, self-censorship, stereotyping, illusions of invulnerability, and direct pressure. So overall, we have learned about the organizational dynamic, organizational diagnostic, group dynamics. Human naturally seeks belongings to group, social facilitation, social inhibition, process losses, group thinking, group polarization, and practical implementation of group dynamics helps in improve decision making and group effectiveness. So overall, we have covered the overview of organizational dynamics and the group dynamics, or organizational dynamics and group dynamics overall. Thank you so much, and I hope this lecture was useful for your MBA program. Thank you so much.